Hello, welcome back. Today we're going to be going into the Motogadget a little bit. The M-Unit Blue, should I say, specifically. As I said, I was going to go through the individual items that I'm going to use before I do a larger scale bench test. Just a brief look and a play with the devices singularly. I've done a video on the motoscopes. If you haven't watched it, please go and have a look. So what we're going to do now, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about the setup that I've got. So the piece of aluminium plate is a grounding plate in this case. The reason that's there is because all of these wires that I have are just hooked into the Motogadget, as you can see, just hooked into the ports. Very messy, very temporary, but when they see a ground or an earth, that's the same as a switch being pressed. Okay. I simply at the moment have this hooked up to a battery, just running down through a fuse, of course, to the power here. And then we have a skinny little ground which is probably inadequate, but and we also have this one here, which obviously is a permanent live in this case, but generally if you were using this it would be from your key, so this would be a switch live going into here, and this end of it would go from your ignition into the same port as this one here, which is your ignition port, if you like. Now in my case, this is my starter switch, and I've got a couple of indicators and some wires going off to this rope light here. Now this rope light, I'm planning on making a custom tail light for this bike using this or something like this. I don't know yet whether this is going to be adequate, because I don't know whether it's bright enough. It might be, it might not be. When this turns on, it's going to look very strange on camera because of frame rates and stuff. It's going to appear to be flashing, but it isn't. It's on solidly. Which brings me into, this is set up on a what Motogadget refer to as a one wire stop and tail light system. So if you look here, you can see these two purpley wires, these two, and that's going into auxiliary 1, and this one here is the brake. So in theory what that will do is it will illuminate the light at 50%, and then when you hit the brake it gives it 100%. So that is how they're referring to a one light, a one wire tail light, because you can literally run one wire, earth somewhere back on the subframe, and so you only have one wire to deal with rather than two. Okay, so that's the basic premise for that. We have a couple of indicators here. The reason I have these on is because the M-Unit sort of communicates with you through these. So if you ever get one of these and you're playing around with on the bench, it's very important that you have two indicators hooked up, because this gives you a visual prompt as well as the LEDs on the unit itself to what's going on. You know, whether it's turned on, whether it has seen the Bluetooth. If you're trying to connect your phone to the Bluetooth, it's a visual cue through your indicators, so very important to do that. So I'm going to turn on the Bluetooth now. It's very important to have your MoRide app open when you do this, or how I seen it to work. So as you can see, the two indicators flashed, which basically means that it's recognised that the phone is here, and it's like turning on your key on your bike, and now the system is live. So this guy here, as I mentioned, is representing my start button. So I've clicked that, so now I need to click that twice. Hang on a moment. There we go. We're now alive. Okay. For some reason I've got an indicator on, not quite sure why that is. Let's just turn that off for a sec. Okay, there we go. So as far as the bike's concerned, it is now on, and everything is you know, so your ignition is on, all your lights, all your buttons and everything's going to work to start the bike, etc, etc. I have this set up, so one dob of this, which, so that represents just like a single tap on your start. The bike has started, my lights are now on. That's flashing because like I say, the frame rates with the camera itself. So that is my tail light now on. If I'm to hit, this is now representing my brake light. If I touch that to ground, there you go, there's your brake light. So 50% power, 100% power. It looks a bit Christmas lighty, but like I say, in real life, this is not. This is just lit up like a running light. Indicators. What I will show you. So if I dab this to ground, obviously you have an indicator right there. But if you look at the ports on the M unit itself, you can see the communication. So it goes from this input to that output, this input to this output. So it's always very important to pay attention to what these LEDs are doing, because that's, you know, it's showing you the communication between the two ports. Again, if I just grab the start button, if I just dab that, the system is now off, but as you can see, it still knows the phone is there. Okay, so you technically, your bike is still on, but everything is turned off, right? Now if I turn the Bluetooth off and walk away, that is now armed, or sorry, disarmed if you like. So the alarm will be on, but you know, if you go and push the buttons and mess around with the bike, then you have no, you know, nothing will work. As I say, this is just a rough and ready sort of little demo of what you can do just to play around with this thing before you try and shove it in your bike. So that you can piss around with it and sort of learn how the different things work. It helped me a lot, being able to do this, because then you can play around with the different functions on the app, see how they work, and then decide what you want to do yourself. In the next video, I'm probably going to focus on this guy, which is the button. So what this will do is it will give me a single wire from my handlebars to this unit through a configure wire, which means I can control all of this by one wire, which you know is going to help with wire cluttering, etc, etc, and will make for a cleaner job. So we'll have a look at that next time. Hope somebody found this useful. Please subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to grow this. The whole channel is a bit of a scrapbook for me, and I hope that other people can sort of not necessarily learn from me, but see my mistakes and how I get around things, and it might help you. It might help you out with some situations if you're messing around with this stuff. Thank you for watching. See you later.